So, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. This is your time to heal, and we're excited to have Kerry Dell, an internationally recognised health coach and natural health practitioner, here to guide us through a transformative power hour. So, Kerry is here to help us reclaim our health by addressing the root causes of chronic illnesses, autoimmune diseases, weight gain, and inflammation using natural integrative practices. Throughout the session, Kerry will empower us with practical tools to detox, restore vitality, improve our overall well-being. And as you learn and grow today, you're also supporting Heart Place Hospital. So every dollar we raise through these fundraisers go directly towards helping us provide integrative care and support to our community. So we're thrilled to have you here today, and we're so grateful for your support in helping us heal, grow, and making a lasting impact. Now let's dive in and begin our journey to a better health with Kerry.
Well, thank you so much, Jackie. It's always such a pleasure working with you and knowing that it's going out there to help others. I think that's a huge place of where our hearts both are. And so the more people we can help, the more everybody will benefit. Yeah.
Definitely.
Cool. So I am really, I think, from my point of view, and what I enjoy doing is making people more aware of what is happening at a really deep cellular level. Because if you are aware of what's happening in your body, you are more likely to take the actions that are needed to make the shifts and changes. It's actually really hard to make shifts and changes, especially in the world today, because as much as we want to make the change, the marketing companies are throwing all these beautiful things and beautiful adverts at us. And, you walk into a supermarket and they're advertising something right in the middle of your face. So it's actually really hard if you want to walk through a normal shop to actually go, but I want to eat for my health and I want to eat for what my body is. So I've got just some key things that I have learned over the years of dealing with international clients, and some key things that you can just tune into and go, is my body functioning correctly? Like, is my body working correctly? How do I know if my digestive system is working correctly? So I'd like to just explain a little bit about that, and then maybe enhance a little bit about how your digestion works, because as we know, so much of chronic illnesses start in the gut. And it's so, so important for us to have a clean gut. I also feel that with a clean gut, we're just so much more in tune to our intuition. We're so much more in tune to our gut feel, like what feels right in our whole world, and not just what feels right in my health. But I find that if our health is in order, then our love life, our relationships, our wealth, like all these other things really just start flowing in our life as well, because we're in a really good vibrational place. So just to start off with, like, how do you know if your digestion's not working correctly, or if any of your symptoms are related to digestion? So I always say, first of all, we should not be suffering. We should not actually have pain or inflammation in our body. If there's pain, that's a little warning signal. Something's not right. Something's not right. We're so used to taking a painkiller that we're numbing the communication and the signals. But instead of taking a painkiller, go, what could be underlying that pain? Like, where could that be coming from? What is the root cause of that pain, of that inflammation? Where does it come from? And so I feel sometimes like a detective, like I'm really digging and digging and digging, and I want to go deep. I want to go deep. I want to go into your cells, and I want to find out, why are you feeling the way that you're feeling? So we shouldn't have pain. We should not be having heartburn or any type of reflux. We should not be experiencing bloating. We should not have excess wind. I grew up with a dad that was like, you've got to let it out. It's got to come out. And I was like, you are far too windy. You are like really too windy. When I started really unpacking his health stuff, it was like, he had chronic wind for years. And it's not normal. It's not normal. And so the other things that are not normal is, just think about this for a moment. If we are eating for our body, the way that us human beings, all human beings, doesn't matter what culture you are living in, we all human beings. So if we are eating right for our human cells, then there's a few things that we need to be aware of. Number one, we should be having bowel movements every day. And if we're really cleaning out that gut, you could have multiple bowel movements in a day. That's pretty normal. We should also actually not be using toilet paper. If we use toilet paper, or if the toilet paper is dirty, it means that there is our lining of our intestines is not working well. There is an imbalance of your gut microbiome, and that's why we are needing to use toilet paper, because there is not one animal or other mammal on this earth that uses toilet paper, because they are drawn to eat what works for their systems. We've been confused by all these marketing companies and all these beautiful things. So we are not drawn to what our body is calling. We're drawn to what's all, sparkling and what's new and what's been recently launched and how can they sell more of something so that they can make more money. And so it's been in tune, really been in tune with your body and knowing that actually we need to eat right for ourselves. Now, that leads on to another thing is, eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because a lot of people say to me, like, what must I have breakfast, lunch, and dinner? I'm going, why are you wanting breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Why not feel and eat when you're hungry? Eat when you're hungry. Do you know why we eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner? Because in the industrial age, when people had to go to work at a certain time to work in factories, then all of a sudden, the factories made the cereals. So back then it was like, okay, you've got to have cereal for breakfast, and then you go and work in the factory, and then you'll have a lunchtime where you can have sandwiches, and then maybe when you get home for dinner, you can have your meat and 3 veg. But there's cereal, there's sandwiches, and that's where it all really started. We shouldn't be having cereal for breakfast. We should be waking up and tuning in and going, what does my body feel like? And honestly, I truly believe fruit is amazing. Fruit is amazing on an empty stomach because you want to be able to bring in the nutrients, bring in that energy first thing in the morning as you're going into your day. You want to fill yourself up with good vitamins, good minerals, good amino acids, coenzymes. That all comes from a good fruit or veggies, but a really good base of living food with living enzymes, because then that's going to be gentle on your body. So that's the first thing I always say to people: watch your bowel movements and watch your toilet paper. The second thing that I want to bring the awareness to is that we should not be waking up in the middle of the night to go to the toilet. We shouldn't be waking up to go and even if you're just urinating, we should not be waking up in the middle of the night. Our human growth hormone kicks in at about 9 o'clock, between 9 and 10 o'clock at night. That is absolutely when we are doing our deepest healing. So when we're doing our deepest healing, our body should be resting and it should be healing. But if you've got excess toxins in your body, the body's going to say, I need to get rid of these toxins. So you get up in the middle of the night, you go to the toilet, you go back to sleep, and the body goes, okay, I can do this again. But there's some people that get up 2-3 times during the night. And it's like, well, how many times do you have to get up to get rid of toxins before your body goes, I can heal more? I can heal more. So the best thing to do is to try and drink a lot during the day so that you go to the toilet during the day so that your body can get rid of toxins during the day, so that you are truly ready to rest and heal at nighttime. Because we want to be able to rest fully, to heal fully, to make sure that we've got our full energy going into the next day. So watch your nighttime toilet habits and definitely watch your bowel movements. Those two tell us huge things about our body. But I want to move on to this bloating, this feeling of fermenting going on, because a lot of people are actually experiencing it, and it's like it becomes normal. It becomes like, well, you know what? I eat something, I feel bloated, I get some wind, it's okay. I'll go into the next meal. So I want to just say it's not normal. And what could be happening in your stomach if this is happening is that your body is not digesting the food efficiently enough, and the food is fermenting in the gut and causing the bloating and causing the wind. So if we think about, we put food in to our mouth. This is the first part of the digestive system. We have saliva. Saliva is the first digestive enzyme that we've got. Now, if we chew our food and we're aware of chewing our food really well, it should already be churned in your mouth before you swallow it. We shouldn't be swallowing lumps. So think about how many times we chew on the run, and our lives are so busy, and we go chew, 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 and then the lumps go down and the lumps go into the stomach. Now, if your stomach acidity is not of a good high level, it's not going to break down those lumps either. And so we need the stomach to break down that food and turn it into even more churn and a watery substance, to then go into, it goes your duodenum, then into your small intestine, and your small intestine is where you absorb everything. So the stomach breaks it down and the small intestine absorbs all the nutrients and minerals. But a lot of times there are lumps in the small intestine. And so the food just stagnates and it ferments. And the minute that you've got this fermenting in the small intestine, that fermenting actually turns into alcohol, and that affects the liver. So now we have this huge epidemic at the moment in the world. Like 80% of the people have got a fatty liver caused from non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It's called non-alcoholic fatty liver because it's not actually alcohol that is causing the liver, but the liver is acting the same as if it was alcohol. So where's that alcohol coming from? It's coming from the lumps of your food not digesting and fermenting in your gut. And so think about that now. It's just sitting there. It's sitting there. And now it's a big job to move it through from the small intestine to the large intestine and eventually out of the body. And sometimes that takes days, like days. Food spends days in our system, whereas it should be going in and digesting, being absorbed and coming out, and going in and absorbed and going out. We should feel hungry. If we feel hungry, our metabolism is working. So we want to feel hungry. We actually want to feel hungry a lot of the time. It's so healthy to feel hungry. It really is so healthy to feel hungry. And we want to know that the stomach acidity is high, so that it actually is breaking down food that we're not chewing enough, and that we are absorbing the most out of our food so that we can actually get our energy into the cells and we can do most of that healing. If that process is not working, we are going to build up more bad bacteria in the gut. So then our gut microbiome goes out of balance. When that starts happening and it goes out of balance, then what happens is that bacteria can feed parasites, bacteria, viruses. They all live together and feed off your body. And it's often when the biochemicals are out of balance in your system, which is caused by a lot of stress. So you add stress to that and you add cortisol running through the system, then all of a sudden you've got this, this really biochemical imbalance happening as well in your body. So your digestive enzymes are not working correctly and not helping your body break it down even more. So it could be, a few things coming in that is not helping your digestive system. And then I've got people saying to me, I lose weight when I go on a diet. I lose weight, and I'll lose weight, especially for women, on my breasts, and I'll lose weight on my bum, and I'll lose weight on my thighs, and my belly stays. It just stays. And they're going, why can't we tell where the weight is going off? And I'm going, that protective layer around the belly, that is a protective layer because those organs are not happy. And so there is going to be a little bit of a safety zone that starts building up. And so when you've got this visceral fat around the gut, that's just protection. And the minute you can actually help the body to feel safer, that's where you start releasing. You start releasing the belly. And it's because those organs are now working correctly. Your stomach acidity is at a high. You're breaking food down. It's now moving into the small intestine. It's been absorbed really nicely. And now your large intestine can excrete what it doesn't need. And everything is working the way it should be working. And this liver and gallbladder are now secreting enzymes as well to help that whole process. So it really is having an understanding of what's happening in your body. And if you can feel into your body, you could probably feel into what needs doing. But that's always not the easiest route to go as well. And I always say to people, when I work with them, I'm looking at cells. I go into a deep look at them through the frequency equipment that I have. And I often find, because the gut microbiome is out of balance, in the wall of your intestine, in the wall of your stomach, even coming up your esophagus, there is often parasites, bacteria, viruses living in these weak areas and causing inflammation that also has an impact on your digestion. So it's to be aware of the pathogens and to be able to actually kill them off, put them back in a box. We all have them. So, it's nothing new, but we should have a balance of good and bad bacteria. We should also not have parasites in our body. Parasites are not there. We do have some viruses, which are really good, but we need to build up antibodies for the viruses so that we can fight off viruses in the future. So these things are the norm, but when it becomes overloaded, that's where we get pain and symptoms. So the chronic symptoms often come from an overload. And I've had a lady come to me. She had, and I tell her story because it just blows everybody's mind, that what happens, because we think that this gut, that's where the bacteria and the parasites stay, but they don't stay there. They can filter through and move into our bloodstream and go everywhere in our body. So this 24-year-old lady came to see me, never had any children, never had anything, but had a leaky bladder. And it just all of a sudden one day she woke up with a leaky bladder. And it was so much so that it was a little bit debilitating for her. So went to the doctors, and after numerous tests, the doctor said, there's nothing wrong with your bladder, there's nothing wrong, but we'll operate anyway. So they operated, they enlarged her bladder, still a leaky bladder. So eventually, after 2 years of doctor visits and operations, they said to her, you need to go and see a psychiatrist. And she goes, but this is physical. Like, this is physical. This is not in my mind. So eventually she found me, and I went through and I did the whole DNA scanning on her. And I said to her, the doctors were actually right. There is nothing wrong with your bladder. There's nothing wrong with your bladder. However, what I found was in her spine, in the vertebra, where your vagus nerve is, and then all the nerves come off your vagus nerve, feeding into all your organs. Where the nerves were feeding into her bladder was a nest of parasites. So they had grown there, was a little weak area for her because there was a weak area in her spine, in her vertebra at that spot. And so they had really made a nice little home there. And now it had got to a stage where their nest was big enough to cause pressure on the nerve to the bladder. So once she did a detox and actually killed off those parasites, her bladder was fine. Her bladder was fine. So actually, she didn't even need to go through that operation. So we do jump to conclusions. We don't understand what's happening in our bodies. And we do think, well, where do we start? Like, where do we start? And so we really start at a deep level on listening to your body. Just tune in and really listen to your body. Because if you listen to your body's always communicating. But we kind of numb our body out because we're so busy. We're so busy. So it's like, go, 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 go. But if we just calm ourselves down, take some really good deep breaths, really just tune in and go, where does my body need the healing? Where does my body need the health? Where do I need to focus? Where do I need to focus? Your body will give you all the answers. Your body will really give you all the answers. And then you put things in place and specific plans in place that will work for you. that will really work for you. So that's why I've got various different programs, because it's not just one fits all. And it could be a combination of things, but it really is about, once you know what the root cause of your symptoms is, then you start your healing process. Then you can really, really heal. And it really is to heal, for me, looking at digestion. I find a lot of pathogens in the nervous system as well. Why? Because we are nervous beings at the moment with so much stress. So our nerve bundles become weak areas, and then all of a sudden, we've got a whole lot of viruses sitting in our nerves, and then they are irritating. And then you want to know why you've got restless legs or why you can't sleep at night. It's like your body is doing this at a nerve level, and then that causes imbalances as well. So there could be various different reasons for different things that you are experiencing, but it really comes down to, are you tuned in? Are you listening? And what are you feeding? What are you feeding all of these little bugs? What are you feeding these imbalance of gut microbiomes? What are you feeding the viruses, the parasites? Because they all survive. They all survive if you're feeding them the wrong things. But food either heals or harms. So what food is harming you by feeding additional pathogens in your body? And what food can heal you? Because it's the fuel that we're putting in will determine how our body is reacting. So what fuel are you putting into your system? And how do you make sure that you are putting the right fuel in? I get so many people coming to me and they go, I've just gone and bought all these vitamins and all these supplements because I think I'm lacking something. So I'm just going to try it all. And then when you go through, you go, okay, you might actually need vitamin B3, but you don't need B12. Because B3 is an overworked stomach, but B12, you're actually good with B12. Meanwhile, somebody's taking loads of B12 because they want lots of energy. And I'm going, actually, your body is saying you've got enough B12, but you need to focus on the B3. So it really is finding out exactly where your body needs to focus. And once you know that, it's putting all those little puzzle pieces together and realizing that you can heal you. You can heal you. You are in charge of you. There should be nobody else on this planet that is responsible for your health except you. And in fact, I don't know any doctor, any professor, any scientist that has actually been able to heal somebody else. You are the one responsible for you. So you've got to tune into you. You've got to take the action. Somebody can tell you what to do, but if you don't actually take the action, then that's also not going to help or heal you. So really tune into you and go, I am responsible for me. I am responsible for me, and I can heal me. But what resonates with me? Where am I drawn? What am I moving towards? I get children, when they come through to see me, I go to them, go into a fruit and veg shop or a farmer's market, because there you've got the smell of the foods. You know, you walk into a fruit and veg shop, you can smell. You walk into a supermarket, no, all the chemicals, you can smell lots of chemicals, but you're not smelling the fruit and veg. So you go into a fruit and veg and you smell and then feel where your body gets drawn towards. Just trust and pick something up and feel if your body moves forward towards it. Because then that's your body communicating to you. That's what you need. And so I had one little boy go, I don't want to eat celery. And my body keeps on telling me that I got to walk towards the green stuff. And I'm going, that's exactly it. Your body's telling you that it wants the green stuff. But that's, he says, I don't like celery. I'm going, okay, just blend it and put lots of fruit in there and then disguise the taste of it. But have some, because your body's asking for it. But it's so beautiful because kids are so in tune. They're so in tune. Sometimes we've lost it and we think too much, but kids are really in tune. So if you get kids to do these exercises and go, look at all the fruit, even if you don't want to go to the veggies, look at all the fruit. Are you drawn towards apples or oranges or bananas or watermelons? Like, what is your body drawn towards? And you'll find that that's what your body is actually needing. That's really what your body is needing. So yes, I'm really, really excited that all of you are on this health journey. And so if there's any additional information that I can share with you, just let me know. I'm
Yeah.
very keen to.
I thought I might share my journey with you, Kerry.
Mm,
Yeah.
please.
So, for everybody that's watching this, so I've done Kerry's DNA um, frequency diagnostic a couple of times actually. And so for me, what came out was I did have fatty liver disease. I don't drink alcohol, so I had fatty liver disease. I had a lot of streptococcus and Staph aureus, which I think potentially a lot of health professionals are carrying. I also had E. coli in my blood and in my nerves, in my nervous system. So I suspect that's been around for a long time. And I had my metabolism was very slow. I had metabolic syndrome, and I was mortified and not happy about it. So my first step that I did was I did the 9-day liver cleanse, which wasn't too challenging because I don't drink alcohol and I don't drink coffee, so I didn't have to let those go. There was a lot of celery juice, but I'd already added that into my regime prior because I'd heard about that. And so I reversed my fatty liver disease in 9 days. So that for me was step one. And I thought, and for me, that intuitively, that was really important. I'm like, well, if I'm going to do this, like it's my liver that I need cleaning up first. So that was kind of step one for me. Step two was investing in a Rife machine, which is frequency medicine. I know it's kind of controversial out there, but it's just I was led to it. I felt it was something that I wanted to add to my regime. And that's not even attached to me. It's under my pillow at night time, and I've got a prescription that I do each night for those different pathogens and viruses. So that's been absolutely easy peasy. And then just recently, I've done the 28-day cleanse, which I've absolutely loved. I realized actually I was under eating. So I loved it. I've got a big, thriving garden, so I really enjoyed doing the garden to table. I actually really loved it. Creatively, I loved it. The food I felt was yummy. There was heaps of it. I was never hungry. I was excited for the next meal, and there's plenty of it. And for me, I shed 7 kilos in that 28 days, which, as you know, Kerry, I haven't been able to shift anything, any kind of weight, even though I'd been really focused on it, moving my body and doing other practices to really release what was keeping me safe. So I shed 7 kilos, and then overall my body I think was close to 25 centimeters in that 28 days. So my body's totally shifted, totally changed. I feel amazing. Like I've actually never felt this amazing. So not only am I physically feeling well, but all these other things are coming into fruition that I've been desiring for so long. So you're so right in that respect. When you clean the cells, then that magnetism really does come forth as well. Something you said that I really want people to understand, and when I understood this, it really helped was when we were going through the school system, we were only taught we could go to the bathroom at certain times. So we never actually got to understand and celebrate our body. We never got to understand, oh, my bladder's full, or I need to go for a bowel motion, because we were so regimented on when we had to pass our urine or excrete. And so we never really learnt or understood what our body was actually, what messages our bodies were giving. And I've talked about this in many webinars and many podcasts. I literally thought my body's purpose, sole purpose, 100% purpose was to carry my head around. And so once I dropped out of my head and into my body, and you'll hear the word embodiment a lot, then, things just come to me. I'm like, oh, actually, today I feel like, you're right. I'm like, I go into my weekend market and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, I totally feel like a melon, or I really feel like some, grapes or whatever's in front of me. And I think you're right, with the supermarket, you just get so bombarded with color and lights and sparkly things that you just sort of dash. And I think if we keep the roller stain to the outside of the supermarket, then we're so much better off. But that's been my journey. I've really enjoyed it. Each of those cleanses that I did, you guide us along the way, which is amazing. It's in community, which I think's really pivotal when it comes to healing. And easy, so easy. I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. And that's why I wanted to put this webinar on today so that people can see there is another way to heal. And you've got countless testimonials. I'm one of them. And gratefully, you're one of our service providers, and we've had countless frontline workers come through, which then ripple effects out. From them, the referrals have come in, and we are creating significant change, like thriving, not just surviving, thriving. And I think, really put into place that, the conventional system has a place. I know one of the women that we referred to in the group, she's been seeing her GP weekly for weights and blood pressures, and they've both reduced, and her medication's reduced. So we're in partnership agreement with the whole health healing roundtable. Everybody, I came with my 100%, you came with your 100%, and we've seen the results. So I just wanted to share my story and what it is, for everybody, that this type of support can really give you that individual root cause, and then a beautiful bespoke prescription to support you for you to thrive.
Yeah. And Jackie, it's so awesome hearing it from you. But I feel blessed with what I do, because I hear it from people every day. If they take the action that is there to be taken, oh my gosh, the results are amazing. So you said overall your centimeters that you lost, but what was around your belly?
Was 20 centimeters.
Yeah. Yeah. So you
20
lost in
centimeters.
the place where you wanted to lose.
I
And
did.
yeah.
I did.
And so
Yeah.
this is why it's like when we put attention where attention is needed, we get the results. We
Yeah.
really get the results. And I mean, when our bodies feel so clean and so healed, that thriving comes from an increase of the vibration of every cell in your body. So if you talk about lifting your vibration or lifting your frequency, it starts with what are we feeding ourselves and how are we healing? And so that is huge. So my Thriveology Plus is exactly that. It's a combination of meal plans, recipes, coaching, as well as the RAF machine, because that is frequency healing whilst we're sleeping. So like, yay, we're getting that, exactly, we're getting that benefit. But that is very targeted as well. So that's exactly why I put protocols in place for individuals. So every individual has a different protocol depending on what your body is needing and depending on where your stem cells are going to do your healing. Because once you know where your stem cells are healing and we support that, then you know that you're actually going to heal more. You're going to be able to do more. So, so yes, I love hearing the results. But I also wanted to say to people, like, this is so doable. It really is. Like, I love hearing you say that it was easy, because this is not a difficult thing. But I think the key, like you said, it's community and it's support. So the coaching calls are groups. It's group coaching calls, because I find a lot of people, some people could be like, I don't do groups. I don't want to talk. I don't want to ask any questions. I'm going, that's perfect. Just listen. Just listen, because somebody will ask a question that you were thinking about. So even if you don't want to ask the question in a group situation, you will get your answer. You'll actually get that answer. Or maybe you come up with something like, this is actually bothering me and this is what I'm moving through. And somebody on the other side of the call, or other side, because I obviously do international as well, on the other side of the world is sitting there going, oh, feel the same. I'm in a different country, I'm in a different culture, but I feel the same. And that's what I said. We are actually human beings. We're really human beings, and our bodies do either heal or, react sometimes so similar to somebody else, and they could be far apart from where you are. So community is big. It's a big part of it. Yeah. The support.
So I wonder if we can sort of like people can kind of go through a journey like I did, sort of smorgasbording, or you've got your Thriveology, so your three different tiers of Thriveology, or they can smorgasbord like I
Yes.
ended up doing. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So that's the thing. If you just want to dip your toe in,
Mm,
then the first place to start would be to do the DNA health assessment, because that goes down to cellular level.
mm,
And it's beautiful because you really get to understand your body and what's happening internally within yourself. And so that would be without a shadow of doubt the first place to start. And then there are various programs that people can do, or if you're really ready and you go, right, I find people that have chronic things going on. So it could be any autoimmune issues, it could be diabetes, it could be, yeah. I mean, there's just so many different
mm.
types of things. Or it could be that you just can't release the weight and you haven't been
Yeah,
able to for a couple of decades now since the kids were born.
yeah,
Um, and you just want to be able to release this. The Thriveology, in the different options there, it does have an option where you just can be part of the community for 4 months and go through a journey, or you can journey for a year.
yeah,
And so I do find, like cancer patients, for instance, when they are on a journey for a year, oh my gosh, they seriously change their life around,
yeah,
because it's not just physical, they get supported emotional, mental, spiritual, every
yeah.
aspect.
That whole health model,
That whole,
whole
and
person.
yeah, and this is often when you're trying to heal from something,
Mm,
it's the support that somebody is there just cheering you on every
yeah,
day, and there's a community cheering you on every day, so that you can get out of bed, so that you can make that meal, so that you can do whatever you want to
mm,
do. And just knowing that you can tap into like-minded people that are all on a health journey
yeah,
is huge. I think it's like part of the healing is just showing up every week on a call. That's like part of the healing. It's like, I'm here and I know that I'm going to learn something, or somebody is going to ask a question that really resonates with me, and it's just, yeah, it's beautiful.
yeah.
Beautiful.
And I mean, the other aspect to it too is like our health system's so overloaded and not it's providing reactive sick care, right? To a very small select few, because our our service providers within the system are far and few between and are burnt out. And so this is a great way for us to think outside the box, get to the root cause, and lay off our health system that of course we need. We need it for, if I have a car accident and my arm comes off, I really don't. I don't want to use your TNA.
No, no.
I really want pain relief and a good quality surgeon that's
Correct.
well. So this is a way for us to also, you know, support ourselves, but do it for the wider good. Yeah,
Yeah. And Jackie, I'm in huge agreement. I've got so many of my friends are doctors.
yeah,
And I just say to them, I love what they're doing and where they're doing it and where their specialties are. And I do find, and that's why they're probably a lot of them are friends with me, there's a place for
sure.
everything. There
Yeah,
really is a place for everything. And it's like, well, please can you help this person? Because if they can just release some weight or get rid of the inflammation, well, then they're ready for the operation. So sometimes it's actually just preparing them to
mhm,
go in to have a very successful surgery, and
yeah,
sometimes we need that as well. So yes, definitely there is a place for medical, 100% hands down, but we don't want to overload that system with things that are not necessary. And I know I've said this to my doctor friends, when it comes to chronic medication, we don't actually need all of the chronic medication. There are things there that can be reversed, and they're the ones who are, in agreement with me. And again, you're right. We need acute situations, acute surgeries, acute things. That's where medical is amazing, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
So in those acute situations, like, we need them.
Yeah.
But for ongoing conditions, we know the body heals.
Yeah.
Every day the body is healing. It's
Yeah.
just like, how do we put this body into balance so that it can heal to the maximum capacity every day that we've got? And so that's what we want to tap into, is how do we make this body heal the most every day? And so, yes, there's tools and there's techniques, and hydration and breathing is also the first start of just about every program that I coach. Is like, get yourself hydrated and get yourself breathing.
Yeah, that was me. I was dehydrated and I was riddled in cortisol, despite having entirely changed my life. But it made sense. If my liver wasn't working properly, then why would it process that? And same with the hydration. I just had a block there, and since it's easy again now. It's easy. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So I want everybody to try this little thing out, because this is what I've done with thousands of my clients around the world, is that we drink all day. So waters and herbal teas are the two things that actually get absorbed the best into our cells. And I'm just talking about normal filtered water, not carbonated water or soda water or any special water. It actually just needs to be filtered water, still filtered water. So people can get their hands on it. It doesn't have to be expensive water, just drink water.
Yeah.
But if we drink enough during the day, and then test this is a little test. Go to bed tonight with a glass of water next to your bed. Drink the glass of water before you fall asleep. And then don't wake up to go to the toilet. So if you can drink a glass of water on the edge of your bed before you sleep at night and not go to the toilet during the night, you flushed enough toxins during the day.
Yeah.
So that's your little measuring tool, is like, okay, I've flushed the toxins because I'm not waking up to go to the toilet.
Yeah.
And the more that we are hydrated, the more that our cells are absorbing the water, the less you go to the toilet. So initially, it takes about 3 to 5 days, depending on toxins and people, their makeup, about 3 to 5 days of increased water for your body to adjust. But then when it adjusts, you don't go to the toilet that often. Yeah.
And can you speak into the benefits of being hydrated? Because, can you do that?
Well, the first huge benefit of being hydrated, it's the best anti-aging tool we have.
Yeah.
Because when our cells are dehydrated, they slow down. And we know, you can see if the skin is not hydrated, it gets wrinkly. Now, this skin is actually around every organ internally. We have a skin around every organ. So if we're wrinkly on the outside, we're going to be wrinkly on the inside. So the cells actually shrivel on the inside if we are not hydrated. So how then can it work efficiently? If you think about a cell wanting to actually do some healing or move around the bloodstream or move around the large intestine, you need hydration. Most people that battle with dehydration also battle with constipation.
Right.
Also battle with headaches. So our brain is this beautiful fatty cell, actually a fatty organ that actually needs a lot of water to function. And if it's not, it's going to shrivel and it's going to cause that pain. And the same with our intestines. If our intestines don't have enough hydration in them, it is hard to move toxins out of a body that's not hydrated. And it gets stuck. And it really, really just becomes very uncomfortable and actually painful. Painful to have a bowel movement if we're not hydrated.
Yeah.
So any of those signs that you have, the skin feeling dry, the lips feeling dry, the eyes feeling dry, the skin, the constipation, the headaches, drink water. Drink water. And a lot of people say, can we over drink water? You know, so I would honestly say, out of the people that come and see me in the clinic, about 80% are dehydrated, absolutely dehydrated. I have yet to find somebody that is drinking too much. Most people are drinking too little. I do agree, though, if you are increasing your hydration and if you feel like it's too much, then what I do is I add some Himalayan salt, Celtic salt, any of those nice high quality salts to your water so that you've got additional minerals. Because that's the only thing that a lot of water might flush out of our body is minerals. And so we want more minerals. The minerals actually help the water get absorbed into the cells easier as well. So if you're wanting to hydrate yourself very quickly, then you add the salt into your water, but not so that it's salty. It shouldn't be salty. When you add the high quality salts into the water, it becomes smoother. You're able to drink more. It doesn't become salty. So you want minerals in the water so that it's absorbed into the cells quicker and that you're not drinking salty water. Salty water is going to make the bowel movements go very quickly. So we don't want too much salty water because it definitely is, you know, people can actually start getting diarrhea if they drink too much salty water. But so we don't want to clear the body out like that. We want to be gentle on the system, but we also want a good amount of hydration. So all of the hydration, if the cells are hydrated and they're able to function, that reduces your age. So your metabolism starts working, which means your metabolic age gets reduced with good hydration levels. And that's what we're looking for, is actually a good metabolic age. Now, what is responsible for your metabolism? Goes back to your liver. The liver is responsible for your metabolism. So if there's too much alcohol going in and not enough water going in, it's going to affect the liver. If there's too much fermenting and bloating and wind in the body, it's going to affect the liver. So the liver actually balances your metabolism and allows your body to start burning the fat cells as fuel. But your liver is also responsible for so many different things. Your liver is responsible for balancing your cholesterol. It's the liver that helps. In fact, I've seen the liver and gallbladder, because the gallbladder fits under the liver. The gallbladder is the one that secretes the bile. The liver produces bile. The gallbladder secretes the bile. When that is overworked, there's high cholesterol. So the liver actually produces 80% of your cholesterol. So 80% is coming from the liver. If your liver is not functioning correctly, you're going to have cholesterol issues. So we want the liver to be functioning correctly. The liver cleans out your blood. So we want a nice, good liver to be functioning to clean out your blood. Your liver converts your hormones from your thyroid. The thyroid produces T4 and T3. The liver converts them. So if you think that the thyroid is causing the metabolism issues, that could be causing the hormonal issues, it's actually, have you looked after your liver? Have you gone back to your liver? If you've got a balanced cholesterol, you've also got balanced testosterone, progesterone, and estrogen. If your cholesterol is not balanced and if your liver is not working correctly, those hormones are going to be out of balance, totally out of balance. So when we go back to it, this is why that 9-day liver cleanse is just like so precious, because it helps with all of those aspects. It helps with the hormones. It helps with the metabolism. It helps with the blood cleaning. It helps with the digestive enzymes going through to the body. So it really does help on so many different levels. So very, very
those poor hormones, they get blamed for everything, but really they're messages, aren't they? So yeah. In a previous webinar we did, and I can share this with anyone if they're watching this, is with Aubrey Nation. around being a harmonious woman, and the actions we can take, and how we've really prioritized progesterone and estrogen, where really it's cortisol and leptin that we need to be kinder to, and then that ripple effects out to support the estrogen and progesterone that we hear so much about. But I just wonder if you could share with everyone about the Rife machine. Yeah, if you could share a little bit more about that.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, because it's my favorite tool in the whole world. It really is. And when you think about how long the technology's been around, it's actually quite phenomenal. So Raymond Royal Rife was a doctor and a scientist in the 1930s, and he actually magnified the microscope. So they had the microscope around in the 1930s, and they were looking under the microscope, and I can't remember the exact numbers, but they were looking at something like 100 times, and he managed to magnify it 200 to 400 times. So he started seeing things under the microscope that they weren't seeing before. And so what he was seeing is he was seeing the tiny, minutest parasites that you can't see with a naked eye, and the little bacterias, and he was seeing how viruses interact with, like, it was just incredible for him. So then he started doing some tests on his own. In the petri dishes, he was sending frequencies through to these organisms, and he was looking at cells, but he was also looking at all the pathogens. And then he realized through the frequencies that the frequencies were actually allowing them to die off. And so that's where he started putting the frequency technology together. And obviously it's just developed and developed. So right now, these Rife machines and this specific model that I promote is because I know the manufacturers and I know what's programmed. So the frequencies that are programmed on, it's not just a 432 megahertz, it's not just to, find a frequency on YouTube and send it through to the body. These go to deeper layers. So it might be a 432.7586, whatever it is. It goes really, really deep down. But what it does, it sends the frequency through to your body. And it really is, the Rife machine is just slightly bigger than your mobile phone. It's attached to, I was telling a woman the other day, my first Rife machine was like a big box, and the mat covered my bed. It was like, nowadays they're portable. It's like, yay, I fly with mine and, put it in the car, and it's portable because the activating patch is nice and small. So, so the groups that are programmed onto the Rife machine that I promote, and Jackie, you've got access to it for your clients as well, is that it actually targets the pathogens. It opens up the detoxing pathways of the body and then supports the systems. So when we put a protocol in place, we are always making sure that the body can detox, because we don't want to kill off parasites and then they don't go anywhere. Or we don't want to try and remove heavy metals and they can't go anywhere. So if there's an overload of heavy metals, if there's an overload of pathogens in the body, this is where the Rife machine is so successful, so successful. So we open up the detox pathways. We target specifically the parasites, the viruses, the bacteria, whatever it is, heavy metals, whatever is toxic in your body, whatever is causing blockages in your system, we target that with the Rife machine. Then we strengthen the body. We strengthen your immune system. We strengthen your musculoskeletal system. We strengthen your stem cells, your DNA, your ATP. We strengthen your hormonal system, the respiratory system. So we've put these groups in place where we absolutely strengthening the body so that you can take that Rife machine in a couple of months and give it to another family member. Because we want your body to be strong, to be able to handle future pathogens that are coming through. And we want your body to have detoxed everything in its system right now, so that your frequency, your vibration is now at a heightened level. So for me, a key tool has been the Rife machine, because it's been the one successful thing that can actually get the pathogens out of our system or make the viruses dormant. I had a client, he was 75 years old, still working, and he came to me exhausted, and he said, I don't know what's going on. I've had all the blood tests done, and I don't know what's happening to me. And I found the Epstein-Barr virus in his blood cells. So he went away and he went back to the doctor and he said to the doctor, can you test my blood for Epstein-Barr virus? And then he came back to me and he said, by the way, I went and got this test done. And I said, and what were the results? He said, it was confirmed. I do have Epstein-Barr virus in my bloodstream. I said, and then what did the doctor say that he could do for you? And he said, the doctor said, there's nothing that can be done. I need to rest because it's viral. So that's exactly the answer. Now, what these Rife machines do, the Rife machine is programmed with the Epstein-Barr virus. It can go straight to that virus and make it dormant. Make it dormant in your body at the same time whilst we are strengthening your immune system so that your body will deal with it in the future. And lowering your stress and your cortisol, because that's what feeds viruses often, is the cortisol and the chemicals in our body. So we unpack everything and then we put a protocol in place, and that's what you follow, and that's where you get results. And the group settings are quite long. They run for hours at a time, which is why we suggest people, put the little patch mat under the pillow and sleep. So whilst you're sleeping, you're healing. How awesome is that? But it's a magnificent tool that I know works for sure. And I see the results over and over and over. And I get super excited because I have seen people with chronic conditions and all of a sudden the symptoms are gone. But I know the symptoms are gone because obviously the root cause has been dealt with. So this is what is so exciting about using the Rife in conjunction with food frequency and with other things that we can put together. So, yeah.
And we just haven't really highlighted this, just the technology that you use for the diagnostics and just how long that's been around. And you've just
Yes.
you've shared an example where someone's proved it. And even with when I had my reading, because I've also done a nutritional DNA and it correlated to that as well. So I just wonder if you could share a little bit as we end up about the technology that you use for diagnostics.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two different softwares, and one is a 17D, the other one is an 18D. So it's really looking at you at a cellular level, and it is based on measuring the frequency of your cells. So once again, when they discovered that everything is moving in our body, that was one thing. But then, oh my gosh, computers came along and there was software that came along. And so it was a German. Some people say it was Russian. So I don't know if it was Russian or German, but these scientists actually put the software into the system. And so it's a software program that I really have tuned into your resonance, your bioresonance, which is the frequency of every cell. So what it does, it sends the frequency of a perfect body at your age to you, and then your frequency bounces back, and that's what gets stored in the software program. So we get to see on the computer screen, this is what a perfect body your age looks like. This is what you look like, and it's programmed with everything that could possibly go wrong in a body. And so it highlights, this is what it is, this is where it is, and this is what we can do. So it's bioresonance. It's also, the other machine is also based on quantum. So it's all the magnetic frequencies as well. So it's all because we are moving beings. We have this vibration within our system. And because we've got the vibration, we can measure that. We can measure that. So with the two different machines I have, the one shows me what's overworking in the body and what's underworking. Because when we put that into balance, the body heals itself. And then the other one tells us why. And that's what we do. We go into cellular level and we find out why are those imbalances there. So it's awesome.
Yeah. And so that can be done in person by being connected to the technology, or you can do it remotely, and I've done both.
Cool.
I've done both. And so people don't need to see you in person. They can see you online and have the same support. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I do have a lot of international clients because I just plug them into a different type of machine, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter where you are in the world. We've got this little antenna going off. This is me. This is me. This is me,
Yeah.
and it really is tuning into you as a unique radio station, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
That makes sense to me. How long has that technology been around for, Kerry? Just so people can.
So honestly, same thing. They discovered this right back in the 1940s and 50s, but this computer system itself in the 1970s.
Wow.
Personally, I've been working with it for 10 years. My mentor has been working with the software for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she started in IT and got shown the software and then studied all the health.
I
And
love it.
yeah, just been so successful. So personally, I've used the software for 10 years, but yeah, as I said, it's been around a long time.
Yeah. Great.
Mm.
Oh, thank you so much, Kerry. This has been amazing power hour to share with our listeners. So we'll get this all edited up and share it out far and wide. And people will put in here how people can contact you. And you're a valued service provider of Heart Place Hospital, which means that when anybody goes to Kerry via Heart Place Hospital, that not only are you supporting yourself, but you're actually supporting us to support others to access this kind of support. So it's a circular economy and it's community driven and soul led, and I'm really excited, and thanks everybody, and thank you, Kerry, once again.
Thank you, Jackie, and thank you for all the work you do. And it's so awesome when there's wins, because that's really what it is. And we're spreading the healing and spreading the love. So thank
Yeah,
you.
welcome. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.